insane speed, loud V8 sound, hard launch. When GM engineers were creating these cars, they weren't thinking about fuel consumption or environmental regulations. Their goal was different: to extract maximum power from naturally aspirated V8 engines and send it straight to the rear wheels. It was an era when computers served power, not restrictions, when every new model had to be faster, meaner, and louder than the one before. Today, we'll tell the story of the 6 most powerful GM muscle cars ever released in history. The 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle LS6 is rightfully considered one of the most powerful and iconic muscle cars in General Motors history. Many car enthusiasts call 1970 the peak of the muscle car golden era, and the Chevelle LS6 was its brightest representative. This car was built without compromise, with a single goal: to deliver maximum performance on both the street and the drag strip. Under the hood resided the legendary 454 cubic inch, 7.4 liters, LS6 V8. Officially, it produced 450 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque, though experts believe the real figures were even higher. The engine featured high compression, reinforced internal components, and a large carburetor that ensured a generous supply of fuel and air. All this turned the Chevelle into a veritable fountain of untamed power. Acceleration from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour took less than 6 seconds, and the car could cover the quarter mile in roughly 13 to 14 seconds, making it one of the fastest production cars of its time. Fuel consumption was enormous, but in the LS6 era, this was considered not a flaw, but the price of pleasure and status. The Chevelle's appearance matched its character perfectly. The aggressive front end, muscular body lines, and functional hood scoop made it immediately clear that this was no ordinary family car. The interior combined sporty elements with basic comfort, but the engine always remained the star of the show. The Chevrolet Chevelle LS6 became a symbol of absolute power and is still considered the benchmark for the classic American muscle car. The 1987 Buick Regal GNX was a genuine shock to the automotive world, completely overturning the idea of what a muscle car should be. At a time when most considered the era of powerful American cars to be over, Buick released a machine that proved otherwise. The GNX didn't rely on a classic V8, but instead used a turbocharged V6, a near-blasphemous challenge to tradition for a muscle car. Under the hood lay a 3.8-liter turbocharged V6, developed in collaboration with McLaren Performance Technologies. Officially, the engine produced 300 horsepower and approximately 380 pound-feet of torque. But, as with many iconic models, the real figures were higher. Power was sent to the rear wheels through a reinforced automatic transmission, making acceleration sharp and decisive. The GNX accelerated from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in about 4.7 seconds, leaving behind not only most American cars of the time, but also many European sports cars, including Ferraris and Porsches. Its top speed exceeded 200 kilometers per hour, an outstanding result for a production car of the late 1980s. A reinforced suspension, modified rear axle, and special tires provided excellent grip and stability even under aggressive acceleration. The model's rarity deserves special mention. Only 547 examples of the Buick Regal GNX were ever built, all painted exclusively in black. Chevrolet Copo Camaro. The 1969 Chevrolet Copo Camaro is one of the most legendary and unusual muscle cars ever created by General Motors. Its story began not in the design department, but thanks to the ingenuity of dealers who found a way to circumvent GM corporate restrictions on installing large engines in compact models. Thus, the Copo series, Central Office Production Order, was born, allowing the transformation of an ordinary Camaro into a true monster. The main feature of the Copo Camaro was its enormous 427 cubic inch, 7.0-liter, big block V8. Officially, the engine's power was rated at approximately 425 horsepower, but in practice, the car felt significantly more powerful. This engine was previously used in top-spec Corvettes, but in the lighter Camaro body, its character was even more aggressive. Acceleration was accompanied by wheel spin and a powerful roar that was unmistakable. There were several variants of the Copo Camaro. The more common version featured an iron block, but the true legend was the ZL1 modification with an all-aluminum engine. Only 69 examples of this car were produced, and today they are considered among the most expensive and rare muscle cars in the world. The lighter engine improved weight distribution and made the car even faster. Is a shining example of how engineering boldness and a bit of cleverness can give birth to a true legend. The 1962 Pontiac Catalina Super Duty became one of the first truly extreme muscle cars in General Motors history. In the early 1960s, the concept of a muscle car was just taking shape, and Pontiac decided to set a high standard right away by creating a car focused not on comfort, but on maximum performance. The Catalina looked like a large family sedan, but in reality, it hid serious racing DNA. The car's main pride was its 421 cubic inch Super Duty engine. The officially stated power was around 405 horsepower, but in reality, the engine delivered significantly more. Pontiac deliberately understated the figures to avoid problems with insurance companies. The engine's construction used forged connecting rods, a reinforced crankshaft, and special cylinder heads designed for extreme loads, including participation in NASCAR. The engineers understood that power wasn't everything, so they seriously worked on reducing weight. For this, aluminum body panels and a lightweight hood were used, which reduced the weight by approximately 70 kilograms. Thanks to this, the Catalina accelerated surprisingly easily and demonstrated impressive dynamics for its size. Acceleration to 100 kilometers per hour took about 5.4 seconds, and the car covered the quarter mile in under 14 seconds. In the early 60s, these were the figures of a true road monster. The interior had almost no luxury. Everything was subordinated to speed and control. The Pontiac Catalina Super Duty proved that large American cars could not only be powerful, but truly fast, laying the foundation for the future muscle car era. Plymouth Cuda 446-pack. The 1970 Plymouth Cuda 446-pack is considered one of the most charismatic and recognizable muscle cars of its era. This car became the pinnacle of the Barracuda line and the embodiment of the aggressive style of the early 70s. From the first glance, the Cuda drew attention with its massive body, wide tires, and vibrant colors, most memorably the legendary plum crazy purple. The heart of the car was a 440 cubic inch, 7.2 liters, V8 with a six-pack system consisting of 3 two-barrel carburetors. This configuration allowed the engine to develop around 390 horsepower and provided an instant throttle response. Paired with a 4-speed manual transmission and the iconic pistol grip shifter, driving the Cuda became a true performance in itself. The car was relatively light for its class, which positively impacted its dynamics. Acceleration was sharp and confident, and the chassis balance provided a sense of security, not only in a straight line, but also in corners. The Cuda wasn't limited to being just a drag machine. It demonstrated respectable handling by the standards of muscle cars at the time. The model's rarity adds to its value. In 1970, a limited number of versions with the 446-pack engine were produced, and the convertibles became a true collector's rarity. The interior was characterized by sporty simplicity, bucket seats, a clean instrument panel, and a driver-focused layout, and is still associated with the brightest period of the muscle car era. Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. The 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am became a significant milestone in the history of American muscle cars, and the first car to bear the legendary Trans Am name. By that time, Pontiac had already found success with the GTO, but the company decided to create something more focused on handling and sporty character. Thus, the Firebird Trans Am was born. A car that combined a powerful engine with improved dynamics and a motorsport-inspired appearance. A distinctive feature of the Trans Am was its memorable design. All cars were painted white with blue racing stripes and equipped with aerodynamic elements, including a rear spoiler and functional hood scoops. This look immediately made it clear the car was built not just for cruising, but for active driving. The interior was understated and sporty, with bucket seats and additional gauges for monitoring engine revs. Under the hood was a 400 cubic inch, 6.6 liters V8 in the Ram Air version. The base configuration produced about 335 horsepower, while the higher performance Ram Air 4 variant developed up to 345 horsepower. Paired with well-chosen gear ratios, the Firebird demonstrated confident acceleration and a powerful launch. The car was oriented not only for straight-line speed, but also for cornering, which favorably distinguished it from many competitors of the time.